full of promise, a bond forged in trust, and a tragedy that shook Hollywood to its core. On July 2nd, 2025, Sophia Hutchins, businesswoman, activist, and Caitlyn Jenner's closest confidant, was gone in an instant, just 29 years old. Her story ended not in the spotlight, but in the silence of a Malibu ravine. What really happened that night? And why does her death still leave so many unanswered questions? Sophia Hutchins was more than a name whispered in celebrity gossip columns. Born on April 1st, 1996 in Bellevue, Washington, she carved her path with ambition and resilience. A Pepperdine University graduate in economics and finance, Sophia was already making her mark, founding her own company, managing Caitlyn Jenner's career, and stepping into the world of activism. But what made her story extraordinary wasn't just her achievements. Sophia was also a trailblazer. Inspired by Caitlyn Jenner's own public journey, she embraced her identity as a transgender woman, choosing courage in a world that often punishes difference. For nearly a decade, Sophia and Caitlyn were inseparable, living together, working side by side, and facing the storms of media speculation. Were they friends? Partners? Something more? The truth, according to both, was simpler and deeper. Caitlyn is a parent figure. Sophia was family, and together, they built a life that blurred the line between business and blood. But even the strongest bonds can't protect against fate. It was July 2nd, 2025, a quiet evening in Malibu. Sophia was driving a 2013 Polaris ATV, winding along the steep curves of Decker Canyon Road, not far from Caitlyn Jenner's home. The road was dangerous, the cliffs unforgiving, and in a matter of seconds, everything would change. According to investigators, Sophia's ATV collided with the rear bumper of a 2016 Mazda sedan, carrying 2 passengers. They were uninjured. But for Sophia, the crash set off a chain reaction. Her vehicle veered right, hurtling off the road, plunging more than 350 feet into a ravine. First responders rushed to the scene. Paramedics found her ATV crushed atop an overturned vehicle. Sophia had suffered multiple blunt force injuries. There was nothing anyone could do. At just 29, she was pronounced dead on the scene. The official report? Speed. Sergeant Eduardo Saucedo of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department said Sophia may have been trying to maneuver around the car, but was going too fast. Within seconds, a young life was gone. And a question remained: could it have been prevented? The official ruling was clear: an accident. Yet the tragedy left behind shadows that many couldn't ignore. Why was Sophia driving that ATV on such a dangerous road? Was it a routine ride or something else? Witnesses claimed she wasn't following the car she struck, but had simply come up too fast. Still, for some, the story didn't feel complete. There were no drugs, no alcohol, no foul play. But the fact that Sophia's accident happened just steps from Caitlyn Jenner's Malibu home made the loss feel almost surreal. For Caitlyn, who once survived her own high-profile car crash years earlier, the echoes of fate were impossible to ignore. And then came Caitlyn's silence. For nearly 2 months, she said nothing publicly. Was it grief, shock, or something deeper? When she finally spoke, the world listened. On August 28th, Caitlyn Jenner broke her silence. With tears in her eyes, she said, "Just recently, my good friend Sophia passed away in a tragic accident. For the last 7 weeks, I've been dealing with death, and it's so difficult." Her voice cracked, not as a celebrity, but as a parent grieving a child. Jenner opened her home to Sophia's family. She compared her pain to the grief of parents who had just lost children in a school shooting, drawing a heartbreaking parallel between personal tragedy and collective loss. Sophia's funeral was held July 24th at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City. Friends remembered her not as a headline, but as a force, an entrepreneur, a fighter, an advocate for equality. She was CEO of Lumisol, director of the Caitlyn Jenner Foundation, and a young woman determined to change the narrative for the transgender community. Even in politics, she made waves. Sophia stood at rallies, spoke on television, and believed fiercely in her causes, whether people agreed with her or not. She lived unapologetically, and that that perhaps is why her absence feels so heavy. Sophia Hutchins was more than Caitlyn Jenner's closest ally. She was proof that even in the glare of Hollywood, authenticity matters. And now, she is gone far too soon. But the questions remain. Could her story have ended differently? And what will her legacy mean for those still fighting the battles she cared about most? If you believe Sophia's story deserves to be remembered, let her voice echo. Like this video, share it, and subscribe, because the next story we uncover may be even more shocking, more heartbreaking, and more unforgettable. Stay with us, because some stories cannot be ignored.